Hi, welcome to my channel. Now we uncover the untold story of the Age of Discovery. In the 15th century, Europe was waking up, a time of curiosity, ambition, and bold dreams. Maps were incomplete. Oceans were unknown. The sky seemed like the limit. Merchants, monarchs, and explorers wanted more. More trade, more wealth, more knowledge. This period in history we call the Age of Discovery, sometimes the Age of Exploration. When European nations sailed beyond familiar horizons and discovered new lands, new peoples, and opened global connections. Roots of discovery. The Age of Discovery didn't begin suddenly. It was built on earlier developments, better ships, improved navigation tools, and trade routes already existing with Asia and Africa. In the early 1400s, Portugal took the lead. Under Prince Henry the Navigator, Portuguese explorers sailed down the west coast of Africa, seeking gold, spices, and a sea route to Asia. Each voyage brought back stories of new lands, strange people, massive riches, and exotic goods. At the same time, Spain looked west. In 1492, Ferdinand and Isabella sponsored Christopher Columbus, who believed he could reach Asia by sailing west. Columbus landed in the Caribbean instead, but Europe realized there were whole continents unknown to them. Tools, ships, and sea monsters. Voyages in this age were dangerous. No GPS, no reliable maps, no satellites. Ships like caravels and galleons were small by later standards, but strong. They had triangular sails to sail against winds, better hulls, and compartments for long voyages. Navigators used the astrolabe and later the sextant, stars to guide them at night, compasses to stay on course. Sea monsters, hidden shoals, storms, disease, and hunger. These were all real threats. Many explorers never returned. Key voyages and discoveries. Some journeys changed history. Bartholomew Diaz, 1488, rounded Africa's southern tip, Cape of Good Hope, proving a sea route to Asia was possible. Vasco da Gama, 1498, used that route, sailing around Africa to reach Calicut, India, bringing back spices that changed European economies forever. Christopher Columbus, 1492, landed in the Americas, finding new lands rather than Asia, but opening up the whole Western Hemisphere to European colonization. Ferdinand Magellan, 1519 to 1522, though he died during the voyage, his fleet completed the first circumnavigation of the Earth, showing that the world is round and connected. These voyages had deep impacts in trade, culture, language, religion, power. Trade, empires, and global markets. Once sea routes were opened, trade exploded. Spices, silks, gold, sugar, and new crops, like potatoes, maize, moved across continents. European powers like Portugal, Spain, England, France, and the Netherlands began to build global empires. They colonized lands in the Americas, Africa, Asia. They traded, sometimes cooperated, often competed violently. Colonialism brought fortune to European monarchies, but it also brought disease to indigenous peoples, disrupted traditional societies, and forced labor through slavery. The Columbian Exchange transformed diets worldwide. Foods native to the Americas, tomatoes, maize, potatoes, became staples in Europe, Asia, Africa. Likewise, European diseases like smallpox devastated populations in the Americas. Cultural exchange and conflict. When explorers met new peoples, there were exchanges of ideas, religion, language, and goods. Christianity spread widely through colonial missions. Local cultures were both preserved and disrupted. Languages changed. New mixes of people, race, and culture emerged in colonies. And with that came conflict. Land grabs, wars, resistance. Explorers like Marco Polo, 13th century, had already introduced Europe to Asia's wealth and wonders, long before big colonial empires. His stories made people dream. Not everything about the Age of Discovery was good. The impact on indigenous populations was catastrophic in many places. Diseases, violence, forced labor, slavery. These dark parts cannot be ignored. European nations exploited natural resources, displaced people, and changed ecosystems. Also, the obsession with wealth and empire sometimes led to wars in Europe itself, and competition among colonial powers. In the midst of this, science and technology grew. Navigational tools improved. Cartography, map-making became more precise. Knowledge of astronomy advanced. Cities and ports became centers of learning and commerce. Artists were inspired by new worlds, new plants, animals, cultures. Renaissance ideas flourished alongside exploration. People began to question, to learn, to travel, not just physically, but mentally. By the end of the age, around mid-17th century, the world was very different. Global trade networks had formed. European languages, religions, and culture had spread widely. Many modern nation-states and colonial empires had their roots in this period. New foods, plants, and animals had changed diets and economies all over the world. The world view had expanded. People knew there were continents beyond Europe, thousands of species different from theirs, peoples different, cultures different. Also, colonialism's legacy included inequality and exploitation. Its effects are still felt today in economic and social structures worldwide. Finally, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this World History Facts Hub channel.